Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. This is Ray with Ray all day. Happy New Year. If you haven't heard my voice already for this new year, you hearing it now. I'm gonna discuss these Housewives of Beverly Hills, baby, with the diamonds. Yes. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Yes, they are. I'm such a girly girl. Yeah, I love my diamonds, child. I got a couple, hey. Not like these heifers, but I got a couple of diamonds. What's up? Again, Happy New Year. We are rolling through, right? Season 13, Lucky 13, episode 10. And boy, oh boy, over the break, we've had a lot to think about. We had a lot of catching up to do. We are back on track, and woo. By the way, I know y'all heard about that Salt Lake City debacle, chat. If you ain't, go ahead and watch my review. It's up. Oh, okay. So we're going to dive right into this Beverly Hills Housewives. Again, season 13, episode 10. Now, we kind of leave off at Crrystal's Taco Tuesday party, where Dorit was being read for filth by Garcelle because, Dorit's privilege gets in the way of her mouth. I first noticed it when I think it was Garcelle's first season, and they were outside having lunch during the day. Garcelle had on this white ensemble, and they're having a heated discussion. Now, I forgot what that heated discussion was about, but just from the whole privilege, conversation that Garcelle pretty much is sick and tired of from Dorit. Even then, I said, well, why is Dorit shaking her neck at Garcelle? If you go back, go ahead, go back. And, because she's never done that before with any of the ladies. And, sometimes when we're in a group of people that we're not usually in a group of people with, we may tend to want to be on their level of some kind. And I think Dorit thought doing that neck rolling thing was apropos, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And then other times where Dorit seems to get it wrong with Garcelle. Garcelle did mention, well, I'll tell you about that later on in the episode. Garcelle had to tell Dorit, you and your privilege, I just can't. And I'm not here to educate you. Move next, and Dorit really took offense, and then, changed the subject and dropped the bomb so that Erika and Denise can get into it, because she was okay, well, next. I mean, see, if Dorit really was the woke kind, she would have addressed it then. She would have, first of all, it never would have came out of her mouth using the word attack when they can just be so extra, with the words they choose and how they feel. It's like, if it's not, lollipops and sugar plums falling from the sky, it's World War VII. And that's the privilege of it all. All of them all of them except for Garcelle has that with them. They, child, I guess. I mean, anyway, so Erika destroys Denise after Garcelle destroyed Dorit, and they're just going back and forth. Again, Denise is on something, not as bad as she was at the party before, because child, even her voice was scary. See, folks got to start doing them drugs. It's one thing to be inebriated by a substance, but when it makes you look like Denise looked the night before, that party before, and how she was just slurring her words, wearing her clothes all backwards, upside down, it just not being coherent in the moment. It had to be at least 4 pills, beer. I'm just guessing, again, all these substances is just unnecessary. What about just regular weed? I mean, I'm just saying, I've never heard weed making people act like that. Weed mellows you out. It'll make you horny, hungry, and sleepy. That's pretty much it. It may give you a little upper, or depending on, was it sativa and indica and all those different types of strands, whatever. I'm not a connoisseur. This stuff I've heard. It's the other stuff need to be left all the way alone. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, Erika destroyed Denise, brought up her kid, wants to know whether or not who makes more money, Denise or her kid on OnlyFans, because Denise is not going to try and come for Erika. That's the wrong person to come for when it comes to something trivial. And the issue happened long time ago. Erika apologized for it, and you can tell Denise was not on anything during that conversation. Child, I don't know. Again, Denise, stay off of them drugs, and that's that on that. So then Kyle questions, everyone's friendship when everybody is talking about how we don't stick up for each other. Well, Kyle is like, well, you'll stick up for me. So, everybody on their own. Everybody points out where they were left to fend for themselves, right? First of all, y'all grown as age. Y'all good and grown. Again, people's feelings are what they are. However, I agree with Kyle. If you're not going to defend me like you wanted me to defend Sutton at the time, then, oh well, deal with it, because eye for an eye. And I don't blame Kyle. Shit, all that mess. So next we got Erika and Dorit talking about the uncomfortable issue where Dorit, used the word attack. You're attacking me, to Garcelle. At the same time, they're showing how Garcelle and Sutton are talking about it too. Sutton gets it. Sutton is more woke in that manner, in knowing, and is knowledgeable that it was inappropriate for Dorit to say what she said, and still doesn't get it. Even then, during the moment, Erika explained to her, you don't use that word against a Black woman, especially when it doesn't fit, because you're perpetuating more stereotypes that Black women are angry, and just wild beasts and whatnot. Well, she didn't say wild beasts. That's what I'm saying. It's just a point of being aware. And like Garcelle said, I'm not here to educate you. Perhaps Sutton should have a conversation with Dorit. Twofold: to educate her sister of color, hello, And because Sutton is aware having Garcelle as a close friend. Because I'm sure Garcelle wouldn't be as close to Sutton if Sutton had any inkling of the same mindset that Dorit has. And maybe Garcelle had to check Sutton, but it doesn't seem like she has. Maybe she has, but it doesn't seem that way. So I think Sutton will be the perfect person and not Erika, because when Erika was discussing things with Dorit, she didn't give her the same woke explanation that Sutton said to Garcelle in that same moment. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it so you can really get a grasp on what I'm talking about. But if I'm explaining, but if you understand what I'm saying, great. So next we got Sutton going on she's meeting up with her matchmaker to follow up on that date she had with old boy. She didn't really like him that much. He talked about his mama too much, but it's all good. So she's setting her up for another date. And the date went well. Just to skip ahead and around a little bit. I'm not going to go directly in order of things, but Sutton went on a date with another guy, Silver Fox, and Sutton liked him. They seemed to hit it off. He seemed, he's a very attractive man. You can tell he was the thing, maybe 30 years ago. Just saying, because he's probably in his late 60s, I think. And I think he's an actor. The way he described, I think his work, he seemed like he's an actor of sorts. But yeah, I hope Sutton does well. She has a couple of guys on her roster. Yes, all right. Next, we got Kim. She visits Kyle. And they're talking about, of course, their other sister, Kathy. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. The way they describe Kathy younger and now, it's like Kathy has some type of mood disorder. The way she's manic, and I remember Kyle describing Kathy as making her bleed on occasion when they were kids, just real angry. And the same way now, vicious with her words. Same thing that Lisa pretty much disclosed. And I think that's the real reason why Lisa is not on the show. That I said it last season when I was reviewing, and I'm gonna keep. That's what I believe. I believe that because Lisa wouldn't back down from exposing the quote unquote mood disorder of Kathy, that and anywho, I wish Lisa was back because I think it was greatly unfair to release or put Lisa on pause because of Kathy's manic episodes. So they just, talk about how their mother was similar in fashion. And, again, when we have possible genetic issues that go from parent to child, in most cases, those things should be managed by medication, especially when it gets in the way of everyday life. It gets in the way of having a normal, quote unquote, normal family unit. And like they were discussing, Kim and Kyle, how it just really messed things up, how those, and I'm using manic to describe the horror that they felt growing up. And, I just think that they're saying it without saying it, and they're not really being truthful with the mental illness that could be possibly, running through their veins within that family. We already know there's substance abuse issues, which is also mental illness, eating disorder issues, also mental illness. sometimes things are greater than what they seem. Sometimes we don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but just from how Kyle described her sister as a kid, how Kyle described her mom, with them growing up with her mom, all these past seasons listening. And, I am aware of mental illness because of, my profession. Being aware of certain behaviors and things trigger you to want to, delve deeper. And I wish them all well. And again, medication and therapy is essential for those who are suffering on the inside and don't know how to control their behaviors, right? It's all good. Sometimes we're dealt a hand that we didn't ask for, but luckily science has created a way for people to manage. And that's why there's medication and therapy. So hopefully things will be better for their family. Next, we have Crrystal and Rob. They're having dinner with the kids again, and they're celebrating cultures. Rob is, I think she said Jewish. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And with her culture, her Chinese culture, they're similar in how they both represent for their cultures within their family, because they're a multicultural family. And so they're having a great meal. And I thought it was nice for them to share with us, because usually we don't get, everybody's culture that's, divulged to everybody. It's usually, if they're, it's usually Black people putting their culture on display. So it's really cool to see. I mean, even though Crrystal has been on the show a few years and we've seen her culture from day one, it's really nice to see everyone's, family history and family culture being talked about, because, the more we know about people, the less fear we have for people and the more empathy we have towards people. And we need to be aware that it's not just, that it's more to it than what we already know from humdrum life. You know what I'm saying? But I really appreciated how Crrystal observed how the skinny girls are within the group, because she has her own, weight issues. And she was talking to Rob about her own feelings and how she's working through them, which is great, because we do know that Crrystal suffers from, or has suffered from, an eating disorder. And so with that being said, big ups to Crrystal, because, she is eating. She doesn't look skinny like the other girls do. No shade, but she did notice, and she was talking with Rob about it. And also she's a little upset with herself that she may have gotten in the way of her brother Jeff's relationship that broke up. And so Jeff is on his way back to the house to spend some time with everybody. And she's a little apprehensive because she knows she'll have to talk to him about how bad she feels about interfering in his relationship, because remember, he was crying and carrying on and all upset and whatnot, not what. So, she loves her brother and she feels bad for the breakup. But they'll be all right. Lastly, we got Garcelle and Dorit, and they are finally meeting up, because Garcelle was telling Erika in the previous scene that she needed a few days. like Garcelle says, Dorit is the one offended when she offends her. Like, girl. And that's the disconnect that Dorit has with what she created, with the angst that she created with Garcelle. And it sounds like in that conversation, Dorit still doesn't get it. And I really, 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 really feel like Dorit wanted to say, I think you're making something out of nothing. But that would have made matters worse, because the way Garcelle kept letting her know, again, I can't educate you. All I can do is let you know how I feel. And it's up to you to pretty much do the work and understand that things, that how you think and the words that come out of your mouth from how you think is just inappropriate. And and pretty much Garcelle called her a Karen. And, it's that implicit bias that racists have, that even though they're, cultured and can speak all these different languages, they don't have a hood on their head, they're, they have multicultural people coming through their home, either as workers or friends, colleagues. No, they're nice to people. They're not the overt Karen, racist savage, but they have that implicit bias that Garcelle mentioned that Dorit has, and Dorit doesn't understand it. Again, I believe Sutton and Dorit should have a conversation one-on-one, so that Sutton can help her sister understand, because Sutton, the way Sutton described it when talking with Garcelle was on point. And I really feel that Dorit understands the bias and she's comfortable with that, but it is a problem because she can't hide it anymore. Again, Garcelle's not trying to label her at all, neither am I, but it's there, it's obvious. It's that implicit bias that Dorit has, and she needs to check herself. So yeah, that was it, y'all. That was Housewives, Beverly Hills, child. It's gonna get good. Again, what, 10? They halfway through the season, I think. If they're gonna go to full 20, you think they're gonna go to full 20, child? We're gonna find out. But thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you can, tell a friend. Tell them what's going on over here. We got some new episodes of other shows uploaded recently. We got Southern Charm with my girl Psychic_ELB. And also some Housewives shows that we are getting going. And we just want you to feel great when you come over here. And I hope you have a great day. Again, Happy New Year 2024. Talk to you later.